Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. This is Grace Marin for another interview in October for a day in the life of nursing students COVID edition. So as from last month, we have Joy and Sam joining us, and I'd love to get on with how things have been.
Um, Things definitely picked up since the last time we talked. We've had a lot more exams, had some test outs where we had to just go into the lab and, do our vital signs and, they have to check we're doing it right. That was nerve wracking. Yeah, it picked up pretty fast out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's been a big change since the last time we saw you. It's definitely a lot more work than any of the past 2 years, but we're just getting used to it, getting used to online. But I think we're also learning how to handle it better.
If you ladies don't mind, I prepared a few questions to share with you and literally just be as honest as you want to be and to be able to share your thoughts and feelings of how you're feeling right now, today in history with what is happening with all of us as we now enter into our second resurgence of COVID, not only in our nation, but also around the globe. So, how are you adapting to hybrid learning right now? And if you could share with the audience one struggle, how you overcame it, maybe a tip to share with our audience. Who wants to go first?
I think the biggest thing was just learning how to organize myself. I know that there was a lot of confusion in nursing school. We were getting so many emails and just a bunch of notifications of things we had to be doing. So everyone was always freaking out. We have a group me that everyone was always messaging and like what's happening. But I just figured out that every Sunday I sit down and I look at the syllabuses and I and I just read through it and I make a list of everything I have to do that week. And I think that really helps me because it just allows me to see everything I have to do all in one spot instead of having to look at this thing online and another spot. So I just write it all down every week.
That's really tremendous, actually. Really smart to have it in one spot because you're right. You got to kind of like gathering cats,
Yeah.
trying to do everything in one spot. Cool, excellent. How about you, Joy?
For me, definitely adapting to hybrid was like I wasn't looking at the right syllabi or something, and
Mm,
I wasn't doing the right work, or I was just almost about to like miss the assignment due date.
mm,
And so then for myself, it's kind of similar to Sam. I wouldn't do it exactly on like a Sunday, but I would pick a night like where I was getting towards the end of the week, and I
mhm.
knew that next week's coming up, and I would go through each syllabus again and I would make sure I'm like doing every single assignment. I mean, I even have like this list over here. It's kind of all ripped up, but like it's like it's got my whole list right here,
Wow.
And then I just that's like for the whole week, and then just try and check that off. Um, but yeah, I would definitely make lists and like write them out because then it's also more satisfying to like check it off.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that was just my main struggle, like not knowing when the assignment was due and then having someone like group me message that, oh, don't forget to do this. And then I'm like, oh my gosh.
The panic,
Yeah,
right? So, are you ready for our next question?
I guess so.
So, how do you stay on point when, let's say, you're really nervous about tackling a big assignment that you're not sure about, and all you want to do is flip on Netflix and watch the latest K drama uh, from beginning to end? I only say that because I've done that recently. Um, how do you stay on point? How do you get yourself back into discipline when you don't want to be?
I guess I'll go first. Well, that's kind of funny because like last week we had a lot of exams and it was like one after the other. So after like that first exam, you just want to like kind of nap all day and just completely check out, but we couldn't because we had an exam the next day and then the day after that. So then I think like one thing that really helped this past week was like studying with friends.
Mm,
We had like just a few nursing friends come. We would just study together. We even like study outside,
Mhm.
just get some fresh air, like wake ourselves up.
Mhm.
What else? I mean, also sometimes just taking a little break, like grabbing food is like you're like, okay, I know I have fun for this amount of time, and then you're like, right after, get back to it. But definitely studying with friends this past week was like more motivation because I knew if they were doing work, then I
Mm.
should be doing it too.
Now, are you doing it together or are you doing it on Zoom? How are you studying together? That's a
um,
good question.
at least the two, like, there's four of us in this house, but like three of us are nursing, and then we know people who are like socially distancing, like, and
Mhm.
we trust them. So, and sometimes even wear a mask in the house
Yeah.
to be sure. And sometimes we just are like, let's go outside and do work there instead, just to try and be as safe as possible. But yeah, that's how we've been doing it.
Mm. And that's been working okay, obviously.
Yeah.
So, just to wrap up a little bit here, what are you most looking forward to with how much none of us really know about what the future is going to hold? So, if you could imagine what would be like a wow at the end of your junior year, going into your senior year, what would you be most looking forward to?
Sure. I think that the biggest thing is just personal growth. We had to do the clinical evaluations this week and talk about like our strengths and our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to actually get that experience this year and get more into the hospital. And we're also doing some community clinicals too, where we go out into the towns and like see like health care needs that the town has too. So I'm just excited to actually like grow and learn things, how to like best handle patients and all that good stuff. So I think I'm just excited to see where I am by the end of junior year.
That's great.
Yeah, same with me. I think my main thing is I just want to get as much clinical experience as possible. I think
Mhm.
school wise classes like same old, but I'm like so excited to just see more. Like since we have half community, half hospital clinical, like, I'm so excited to see in both. And I don't know, I hope with COVID, like when things lift up, like, we'll be able to see even more things because right now some things are limited. They can't let us in certain rooms, certain units. So I'm just mostly excited for that.
That's really wonderful. I'm wondering too, with the school, are you finding groups of students sort of coming together to create some sort of creative way to support the community within the confines of COVID? How about you guys?
Yeah,
Any thoughts?
one of the main community clinicals is a diaper bank, actually.
Mm.
And like you wouldn't think diapers are so important, but like everything leads to another. Like these kids, if they don't have enough diapers, first of all,
Mhm.
their health could deteriorate. Like it could lead to more medical expenses.
Mhm.
Sometimes they can't even go to daycare because then you need a certain amount of diapers to give to the daycare. Then the parents can't go to work. And
Mhm.
it's like a cycle. So I
Yeah.
feel like that was one thing that really actually shocked me because I was like, wow, who would have thought like we needed so many diapers?
How about you, Sam? Anything that you have seen or would be interested in thinking about?
Um, I'm involved with a few things in the community that I've noticed before helping. I'm a part of the Big Buddy Club at school, and we usually go to the elementary school and help kids, but now they're doing like online tutoring, which is good for especially
Great.
for kids at home and their parents can't really help them. So I have to sign up for that. I also know that the food pantry here is doing a lot to try to give food to parents that don't have it right now.
Wow, you filled my heart today just hearing about what you're doing. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And I can't wait to record next month to see how things are going. Thank you, ladies. Until next month.